Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. It's another incredible Saturday, and this is Dr. Herbert Harris with Success Mentorship Class number 360. Welcome on Instagram, welcome on Facebook, and welcome to our mastermind group here on Zoom. The mastermind group, the Zoom link is 12, the number 12uls.com. So those of you who want to may join us on Zoom, 12, the number 12uls.com. Our topic for today is how bad do you want it? And we're really going to be talking about the power of desire. That desire is like your power tool. You know, a regular tool, you can do some work, but when you have a power tool, a tool that you can leverage your impact, leverage your time, leverage your energy. When you have a power tool, it's a different ball game. And so desire is your power tool for creating success. I invite you to visit our website, herbertharris.com, and our talks are very much centered and based on our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. And so if you don't have your book, get one. Be sure to visit our website, herbertharris.com, to learn more about what we do. Before we get started, I'd like for us to get centered in a brief meditation so that we can prepare our minds to receive the message and to be a part of this experience. So let's close our outer eyes, open our inner eyes. Take a deep breath, hold it, let it out slowly. Take a deep breath, hold it, let it out slowly. And in this state of peace and relaxation, I am at peace with myself. Let us affirm that together. I am at peace with myself. Let's whisper it. I am at peace with myself. And in that moment of peace and relaxation, take a deep breath, let it out slowly. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm that together. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. And as that sinks in, we begin the journey. So it is. All right. Today is such a unique and special day that we wanted to look at a topic and this idea of how bad do you want it? You know, each one of our talks over the last months, as we ended the year and we started the new year, was to prepare you to be most effective and to accomplish incredible things over this year. We've been through many talks. We've talked about it's time to make a new start. We've talked about focus. We've talked about changing. But one of the most profound and powerful things that can happen is that ability to get it done. How bad do you want it? And the level of desire is so strong, it makes such a profound impact that if you don't have a strong desire, I can say this, you will probably not be successful. Napoleon Hill said something very, very interesting, and I think it couldn't be any simpler. He said this: the starting point for all achievement is desire. Bill Cosby said, in order to succeed, your desire for success must be greater than your fear of failure. Even the Bible, in the Proverbs, the 13th chapter, 19th verse, it says, the desire accomplished is sweet to the soul. And so, what we're saying here is this power of desire is so strong and so profound that you can use it to overcome anything. We had a talk before that nothing is impossible. And the thought was, how can that be? The fact that you have a vision of something you want to be, do, and have means that you've already created the vibration in the universe to make that vision happen. We talk about the direct relationship between energy, motivation, and desire is a form of energy, a form of motivation and manifestation. So the stronger your level of desire, the more profound your level of desire, the better chances, the better your chances are to accomplish your goals. And so as we go into this new year, we really want to have the tools. Last week we talked about be not conformed to this world, that whatever is going on around you should not hamper you from achieving your goals, from realizing your vision. And the thing that will take you away from, you might say, the usual stuff and whatever else is going on in the world is your desire to achieve something important. And so the beauty of each day, when we talk about a new start, the beauty of each day is you have the ability to desire anything you want. The scripture says, seek and you shall find, knocking it shall be open, asking it shall be answered. And this is really another statement of desire. In other words, if you keep, if your level of desire is strong enough and you don't quit, you hang in there, that anything you want to accomplish over this next year, you can do it. Now, that's a powerful piece, folks, because desire is that one element, that one thing that leverages everything you have. The stronger your desire, the more likely you'll be successful. If you have a weak desire, then you have weak success. I often tell the story of the teacher with a student who wanted to understand this desire thing because it really seems simplistic when we say the level of your desire determines the level of your success. And the teacher took the young student out into the ocean until the water was about up to his neck. And he said, I want you to understand desire. And he held the young man underwater. And for about 40 seconds, and then he let him up. And of course, he gasped for air. Do you understand? The young man wasn't clear. He put him under again. This time, he held him under for almost a minute. And when he pulled him out, the young man gasped for air. And so, desire must be just as strongly as you wanted to take that breath of air, your desire should be just that strong. I was taking scuba diver classes, and one of the things, two things I didn't like about it, I have a low tolerance for cold. And so when we got below 20 feet, 25 feet, I would get so cold I would start shaking. And the other thing was when you're coming up and your air is out, and you can kind of see the light above you, but it's hard to judge how far it is, and you're holding that breath. And so the desire is like if you don't breathe, you die. So breath means prana, means energy. And so you have to desire the things that you want to be, do, and have as deeply as you want to breathe. Phew. You have to have such passion for what you want that nothing will stop you. We often have that vision of living on the river of time. We are boats on the river of time. And if we look at our life as a boat, we have four elements to the boat. We have sails, and the sails represent how you interact with the wind. The sails represent your attitude. And so one wind, one a type of wind that blows one boat over because of the set of the sails, because of the attitude you have, will push you ahead faster. And then you have your rudder, which is your value system, which guides you to tell you what you will and will not do. You have your crew. These are the people you permit to come onto your into your life on the boat that is your life. And they can either row with you or row against you. And then you have your engine. And the engine is your desire. And so when all else fails, desire can keep you going. If there's no wind, if the current's there, if you've ever been, I love having dinner. One of my favorite spots in Wilmington, North Carolina, is a restaurant called Elijah's, and it's right on the water. And sometimes, especially during the change of the tide, this particular restaurant is about 8 or 9 miles upstream from the ocean. So there's a time when the tide is coming in and the water's coming down from upstate that the river literally stands still and it's smooth. It's like a mirror. Okay. Well, when those times happen, when things happen in your life, when you're not getting any support, when nobody believes in you, when everybody says you can't do it, it's your desire that keeps you going. You think about some of the great ones. Sometimes you look at people and you say, man, how did they accomplish that? You think about J.K. Rowling. You know, we talk about that whole Harry Potter series, but guess what? People did not rush up to buy that series. She went to publisher after publisher after publisher. So desire is very keenly interrelated with faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And so once you have desired a particular outcome, then it is that desire that helps you overcome the obstacles so that you do not quit. I remember when we think about, many of you may not know Helen Keller. Young folks may not, but Dr. Dr. Beasley and a few of us. Helen Keller was a lady who was basically born blind. She was blind after, I don't know, 18 or 19 months, deaf and blind. And yet, her desire to get beyond that handicap was so strong that she learned sign language. She learned literally how to learn. And she went to college, graduated from Radcliffe College, became a great author and speaker, motivating and sharing with people the potential that they had simply based on desire. So, desire is your engine that says, I want this badly. So, over this next year, you have to really be clear about what you want badly, what you will have to have. Desire requires an objective. You see, you can't have just general desire. I just desire everything. Desire requires an objective. We all have potential for desire, potential for possibilities, potential for success. It's like outside, the sun is shining, and it's just sunlight. It takes care of the plants. But if you take a magnifying glass to focus that sunlight can burn. And so desire is focused intention, where you want to be something, you want to do something, you want to have something so bad that you refuse to lose. There are often two ways you can win. You can win by being the absolute best, and you persist until you win. And then you can win by refusing to lose. Remember when Muhammad Ali had the rumble in the jungle with George Foreman, Ali hadn't fought for about 5 years. He wasn't really in good shape. But this opportunity came along, and many times opportunities will come to you over this next year where you may not feel initially that you are capable of taking advantage of that opportunity. But desire goes beyond thought. Okay. Desire goes beyond education. That if you desire it badly enough, that opportunity comes along. If you desire it badly enough and refuse to quit, refuse to lose, you win. Now, we often get discouraged and turned around because we start thinking about the how. But desire is an energy, it's a relationship between you and a desired and an outcome, you and an objective. And if you want that objective so long and so hard, it cannot fail to come about. Bill Cosby said, your desire should be greater than your fear of failure. That's a powerful piece because many times you'll be in situations where you feel outclassed, but you're not going to be outworked. Where you feel that other people have other, like assets that you don't have, but yet you win because you hung in there. You made it work. Desire is based on choice. You see, as we go through this next year, you're going to be faced with choice after choice of how to spend your time, how to spend your resources, how to divide your attention. And if you don't do it based on the things that you desire deeply in your heart, it's easy to get distracted and let other people steal your time and let shiny objects take you off course. So how do you make this desire really come into being? What are some steps to help you strengthen your desire and make it so much more powerful? There are many ways, but I'm going to give you 6 steps. Step 1, to fill your mind with exactly what you want. And when I say fill your mind with exactly what you want, don't think of anything other than what you desire. Your mind is always superimposed in the river of time. And so when you waste time in unproductive endeavors that are not centered on your desires and the things you want to be, do, and have, sooner or later, you'll find yourself out of cycle and you may not achieve that you could have done if you just stayed the course, if you just kept thinking about it day in and day out. When you fill your mind with the vision of what you want to be, do, and have, and I mean fill it in every aspect, how it looks, how it feels, see yourself doing it, feel yourself doing it. You create a vibration based on having an objective clearly stated in your mind. Second key, determine what you are willing to give in return for achieving your desired outcome. What are you willing to give? As a writer, when I counsel and coach young writers, what's the one thing that a writer has to give to create the books and the projects they desire to create? One of the things you have to give is your time. And so I tell young writers, the key to getting a book completed is to set specific times when you will sit there at your computer, at your pad, whatever your mode of capturing the ideas, that you sit there a specific time. Don't worry about, I don't feel inspired. If you wait for inspiration, you'll probably never get it done. But say, hey, in order for me, if my goal is to write a million selling book, one of those life altering books that people will buy and cherish and will transform their lives, then what are you willing to do that? You're willing to give your time. So I say, you sit there at that desk. When I was in the final stages of writing the 12 Universal Laws of Success, my commitment was from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday, to be at my desk, no matter what it was. And some days I just sat there and got nothing done. Some days I'd write, and see, I like to write longhand first, and then I'd do it on the computer, on the keyboard. Some days I'd write, and then it was like, this is not it, and I'd tear it up and throw it away. But the one thing you could say, you always have to be there. So determine what you're willing to do to get what you want. You think of Tyler Perry when he was starting out, and he had his shows that he took from church to church. He was willing to sleep in the car, willing to come in and do the performance, not knowing whether he was going to get paid or not get paid, having no idea how much he was going to make. If it rained that day, he may have made nothing. But yet, he was willing to give whatever it takes. Sleep in the car. And so over this year, your year for outrageous success, determine what you're willing to give to achieve the things you say you want to be, do, and have. Number 3, establish a definite date you intend to achieve your desired outcome. Why is that important? If you don't have a timeline, then any time is okay. The difference between a wish and a goal is a time element. You say, man, I wish to be happy. I wish to be rich. I wish to get a house one day. One day and someday never come. But the moment you put a timeline on it, say, I'm going to get a house in a year. I'm going to generate a certain amount of income in a year. I'm going to get my degree in 4 years. Whatever your outcome is, whatever that thing is that you have filled your mind with, that you say you want to be, do, and have, the moment you put a timeline on it, now you've demanded from the universe a time for it to manifest. The fourth key, develop a definite written plan to achieve your desired outcome in the time schedule you have set. Now, let's delve into that a little bit, because that's often where we get off track. We don't take the time to write to make that written plan. Whenever you go for a business loan, the first thing the bank asks you is, do you have a business plan? Why? Because a business plan is necessary for success in business. Well, let's look at the analogy. Life is a business. The desired outcome is happiness, security. So, don't you need a life plan? Absolutely. And I'll say this to you as you go into this new year, whatever you desire, if you do not have a plan of action to accomplish it, it will not happen. It's just that simple. You will not find a single book on success, achievement, excellence that says it's okay not to have a plan, to hang in there and keep working. The fifth key is to write a detailed, clear, concise statement of what you desire, the time limits in which you want to desire it, you want it to manifest, what you're willing to give in return, the plan you will execute to make it happen. Then once you write that plan, That's powerful. That's how you get it done. Now, many of us here are in sales or marketing of some variety. Quentin is insurance, and he's been in stock brokerage area. Many of us are marketing something. So this idea of that written plan now is something that you can say to yourself. So I'll give an example. In network marketing, for example, we say that the number of people you talk to determines the level of your income. One of the greats in the industry said that he he did presentations to 1,200 people. 900 people said no. 300 people said yes. Of the 300 people who said yes, 85 of them did a little something. Of the 85 who did a little something, 35 did a lot. And of the 35 who did a lot, 11 of them made him a millionaire. And so when you lay out your action plan, that statement, and for business, and this is simplistic, say, I will, my goal is to generate $1 million a year. Many people in network marketing, that's kind of the gold standard. Used to be a six-figure income, $1 million a year. Well, when you break down $1 million a year, what does that mean? $1 million a year means about eight, $84,000 a month. That means if you break that down even further, $84,000 a month, that takes it down to about $3,000 a day. When you start looking at the numbers, you can say to yourself, well, you know what? If I just follow this plan, if my plan says I must talk to X number of people to get Y of them involved in the process to generate Z amount of dollars, then that's your plan. And you follow that plan not because you're willing to give the time necessary, you're willing to put in the money to invest in it, you're willing to do whatever it takes. And then finally, the sixth key is this: to read that written statement at least 3 times a day. When you read your written statement of how you intend to accomplish this at least 3 times a day, you put yourself on a track where you cannot fail. I was looking at something one day, and I was going through some numbers, and I was saying to myself, "Wow, if I want to make $1 million a year, this is the number of presentations I have to do. This is the number of people I have to talk to. This is the number of meetings I have to go to." And so when you write that statement out, this is my statement each and every day in the morning. I talk to X number of people. I do Y presentations, okay, each and every day. I meet new people each and every day. All of those things necessary to create success. When you write them in that statement and you read that statement over at least 3 times a day. And let me tell you this, you got to read it at 3 specific times. If you just say, I'm going to read it over, it will never happen. So you have to read it over at three specific times a day. I recommend the time right after you get up, which means you should get up at the same time every day. I recommend around lunchtime, midday, 12 or 1 o'clock. I recommend before you go to bed at night. So that's the last thing on your mind and the first thing when you wake up. See, what happens is the more energy you put into it is another expression of your level of desire. You're not going to do that unless you really, really want it. And so just that daily activity of reading it over 3 times a day is a manifestation and a validation of what you say you want and a commitment of the time it takes to read it over. That once you can do that, then you can use desire now to create the life you want. That over this next year, number one, fill your mind with exactly what you want to accomplish. I recommend, if you don't have, to go to chapter 3 in the 12 Universal Laws of Success, the Law of Vision, to revisit your vision. What do you want to accomplish over this next year? Then, once you've done that, determine what you're willing to give to accomplish it. So I'm going to give X hours a day. I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to enroll in school. What are the things that you're willing to do to manifest your desires in your life? Three, establish a date you intend to achieve it. So if we say it's a 1 year goal, okay, well, guess what? The 1 year goal should be broken down into 12 monthly goals. The 12 monthly goals now should lead you to your 1 year goal. Your first goal, your first month, should be broken down into 4 weekly goals. Then the 4 weekly goals, if you accomplish them, the monthly goal is automatically achieved. In other words, it's a formula. And each time you achieve certain things within a certain time, and once you've done that, you literally have taken care of the next step. Create that definite written plan. Take the time to write it out exactly what you intend to do, what you intend to give, the time elements, and all the things that are necessary to manifest the things you desire. Write it in great detail and then read it over at least 3 times a day at specific times, 7 days a week. Then when you can do that, then this year can be your year that you can achieve things that you never thought you could before. This year could be your year to achieve outrageous success, happiness, love, abundance, all the things that are important to you, all the things that you dream about having and experiencing. This year can do it if you want it badly enough. If you can do these things, if you can manifest your desires and give them life and execute that plan in a daily, moment to moment fashion, nothing is impossible. You can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is. Thank you so much, those on Instagram, for joining us today. Thank you on um, YouTube for joining us today. And hold tight, and we're going to have our group, our discussion group, our mastermind group on our Zoom. And so it is.